Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakha Kodesh. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And today we're going to go into the book of Psalms, the 127th chapter, a song of degrees for Solomon. Except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. Okay, and rightfully so, unless the Lord establishes that house, which the house, it could be literal, like an actual house. It could be representing a household or a dynasty, or it could also be representing you, right? The scriptures liken us as believers onto the temple, okay, of the Lord. Each of us, our bodies being a temple. So except the Lord builds or establishes that house, they labor in vain that build it, because it's not going to stand. And in order, at least for us, right, in order for our house to stand, it has to be built upon the foundation of Yahushai. That can only come by the will of the Lord, of the Father. Except the Lord Yahweh keep the city, keeping is to guard it or to protect it. The watchman waketh, but in vain. So the watchmen that are on the walls that are watching, it's all in vain, because, okay, they see the calamity, but if the Lord is not guarding the city, it doesn't matter what they see or how intensely they warn. That's not what's going to deliver the people from the judgment to come. So it'll be like it's in vain. Verse 2, it is vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrows. For he giveth his beloved sleep. And here what's being said is, working, right? You rising up early, sitting up late, eating the bread of sorrow, you working yourself to exhaustion, without trusting in the Lord, it's vain, right? You don't accomplish anything that way. It's just stress. Okay, so the bread of sorrows that you end up getting in return is like provision that's gained through stress and worry, because you're trying to do it without trusting in the Lord. But as you can see there, it says, for he giveth his beloved sleep. Okay, so when it comes to those that trust in the Lord, he provides for them in a way that allows them to rest peacefully. They don't got to stress, instead of like being stressed out like one who tries to go about it by their own power or by their own means. And which can also be applicable to laboring for the meat which perisheth not. The scriptures say, right, ever learning but never able to come to the fullness of the knowledge of the truth. Because they're laboring for the bread of sorrows, spiritually speaking, that is, and not through the Lord for the bread of life. Verse 3, lo, children are an heritage of the Lord, meaning they're given, they're a blessing from the Lord. And the fruit of the womb is another way of saying children or your offspring, is his reward. So when you're blessed with children, that's a reward from the Lord, because some don't have that, right? When you go into the ancient world, that's why women were very were very sorrowful when they were made barren and they couldn't have children. Because look at Hannah, for example. Children were like a reward from the Lord. And sometimes as a punishment, the Lord would make a woman barren as well. Verse 4, as arrows are in the hand of a mighty man, so are children of the youth. So when you have children, in your youth, they're like ammunition, right? They're like arrows for a mighty man, because they will work in your favor. Eventually what's going to happen, your children are going to grow, they're going to get older, and then they're going to take care of you, right? They're going to spread your line, they're going to keep your house, your name of your house alive. And there's a greater chance of success when you have more children than there are if you don't have any children, or you have few. Because guess what? Contrary to what people might think, children are also an investment. You take care of your children and they grow up and they take care of you. Now imagine you have 7, 5 children and they all grow up and they become successful. You don't got to worry about anything. So they're likening onto that. Verse 5, happy is the man that hath his quiver full of them, right? Likening the children onto arrows in a quiver. They shall not be ashamed, but they shall speak with the enemies in the gate. What that means is the gate, when you go to the ancient world, it represented like the place of an assembly or a gathering, or even to where like disputes were handled and settled. So speaking in the gate is like to defend, like if you have to defend yourself in a legal matter, right? Or if you're being able to represent either yourself or a certain decision in a public dispute, that's like to speaking in the gate. Or even to have strength or representation, having a backing, having a lot of children that are godly, that can sustain and defend you. That's a part of the benefits that comes with, right? So a man with godly and strong children is never going to have to worry about being socially or legally vulnerable, because they have that support, right? They have a strong household, a large family, and that comes with power and stability. So that's why children are also a blessing from the Lord. And that brings us to the end of the book of Psalms, the 127th chapter. Lord willing, that was edifying to the elect. In closing, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachak Kodash. And until next time, Shalom.